So, um, I'm doing this on Zoom also and on IG Live. Hi, thanks for coming. And I am doing that so that if you're someone who's been curious or like confused or whatever about Complex Collective, what it is, what our calls are like, you can just pop in and out and see for yourself, see if you like it. And so basically, what happens is every month there are two calls. So there's one that's a topic call. So this month's topic call is Complex Collective, which is the name of our group, Complex Collective, because like complex PTSD is something that you experience after growing up with narcissistic parents. So Complex Collective topic call. So every month there's two calls. Call numero uno is about a topic. So to this month's topic is CPTSD and its connection with anxiety. And every topic that we have each month has been chosen by you. So a few months back, I asked you you would what would help you and what you would benefit from learning more about. And so each topic for each month is coming from you, which is cool. So so yeah, each month there's a topic call and also a group coaching call. So next Tuesday, same time, I'm going to pop on and there'll be live coaching. So if you wanted to ask a question about this topic or any topic, anything that you're going through right now, you can pop on. You don't need to like turn your camera on or join the actual call. You can like type your questions in and things like that. So if that's interesting to you, Tuesday today is our topic call about CPTSD and anxiety, and then next Tuesday, same time, is a free group coaching call. So if you want to be on that, you can be on that. And yeah, so we're just gonna get started. Hi. And if you're wanting to join the Zoom call itself, you can head to my story and the link is right in there, so you can join that way. All right, so this is so cool that I can share my slides. So today we're talking about CPTSD and its connection with anxiety. Let me just change the photo here. There we go. Okay, so firstly, we need to understand the difference between um, CPTSD and PTSD. So PTSD is more so something that happens from isolated-ish experiences. So like a car accident, for example, and then, when you get into cars after that or behind the wheel, you might get like super anxious about it. But that's like an isolated incident or like war or also like if it's just things that happen in increments, isolated events, or for a limited amount of time. So that's PTSD is something that happens for like a snippet of your life. CPTSD is complex. So the complex part of it means that there's been a lot of increments of things happening and it's been ongoing. It's been chronic. Chronic meaning not like chronic meaning just ongoing all the time. So when you grow up with narcissistic parents or in abuse, chronic, it's happening all the time. You're always in a state of fear or anxiety, worry, right? There's always something going on when you're growing up in chronic abuse and chronic stress. So the complex means that it was just ongoing all the time. There's no isolated incident. It's just complex, and not just complex in the sense of it being an ongoing thing, complex in the sense of it happening with a narcissistic abusive parent. The way that we're manipulated and the way that the abuse happens is complex within itself, right? Like it's so difficult for anybody to really understand what goes on and the gravity of the manipulation and abuse unless you've actually like been through it, right? Because a lot of the time the manipulation that happens and the abuse that happens is confusing because if you try to explain it to somebody, right, they think, Oh, they're just having a bad day. Oh, you must have done something to piss them off. Oh, that doesn't really make sense to me. You're right. It doesn't make sense because the way that this happens doesn't fully make sense in the way that like social norms occur. Um, Anyway, that was a bit of a tangent, but PTSD is more isolated incidents, and CPTSD is complex. It's ongoing, it's chronic stress, chronic abuse, just la, 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 la. It just doesn't stop and it all piles on top of each other. So that's the difference between those. And next up, okay, so what is anxiety anyway? This is ironic actually. I thought this call was super ironic for me because I get really, really anxious. Um, and you can probably hear it in my voice. I get really anxious about like things going wrong. There's a windstorm outside right now, and I'm like, oh, what if it cuts out the internet and like it doesn't work anymore? So I thought that was funny because I'm anxious on this call right now. But what is anxiety anyway? So, anxiety is characterized by excessive apprehensiveness about real or perceived threats. So, it doesn't need to be something that is going to happen eventually. It can be something that we're perceiving is going to happen. And a lot of the times, as complex PTSD and narcissistic abuse survivors, we tend to like shame ourselves for being anxious about things. And we're like, oh, fuck, why am I so this or why am I so that? This is so irrational, right? Like, we tend to think that our anxiety is irrational. But the thing is, like, if things have actually happened to you growing up and growing up in narcissistic abuse with narcissistic parents, there has been a lot of evidence and a lot of things that have happened that, yes, it is very, very real and rational for our bodies to alert us to a lot of things now. And anxiety, in and of itself, is like our internal alert system, right? We shouldn't get angry at it or mad at it. It's just trying to warn us. It's like, hey, um, remember when this happened a long time ago? Yeah, that might happen again. So let's just prepare for that just in case. Um, and we tend to get down on ourselves and shame ourselves. Someone just said we shame ourselves because we were actually gaslit into the spiral of belief. Yeah, yes, exactly. We've been gaslit like crazy. Um, and kind of gaslit into being made to feel like not only is our anxiety irrational, right? Which it isn't. But we're also gaslit into thinking that we're just too sensitive, we're overreacting, you know, just all these things that we're just being told, which is a disguise, um, like our narcissistic parents' disguise for like underneath is I don't want to take accountability for what I did. I didn't actually do anything wrong to you, in my opinion. And the disguise is the gaslighting, right? It's no, it's you, it's your fault, you're overreacting, you, even though it's them who needs to take accountability for making you feel that way in the first place, but that will most likely never happen. So yes, if you are feeling like you have anxiety and you think it's about something so stupid and you're like, oh, why am I so anxious about this? This is ridiculous. Like normal people shouldn't be anxious about this. Well, you have lived experiences that have told your body and taught your body over a long period of time that yes, these are things that you need to be anxious about because they have bitten you in the past, right? So things like, um, well, one of the things that a lot of us are super anxious about is anticipating a text or a call, especially from a narcissistic parent or like a family member. Um, and some people would be like, "Oh, why are you so anxious about that? That's silly. That's just a text. That's just a whatever." And no, no, no. Maybe in that specific moment, sure, it might not be a big deal. But interactions with that person or those people in the past have not been safe. So your body and your nervous system are preparing you for that. And they're like, okay, this might not go well. You might need to be on alert for that. And we need to step away from shaming ourselves from that or for that and embracing our nervous system for what it is and that it like literally does have our backs and it cares about us so much that it's like, wait, 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 no, be careful. And it's up to our current conscious selves to tell it that it's okay, we can chill a bit. And so the next one is the difference between fear and anxiety. Because a lot of the times they can feel the same ish way inside. So the difference between fear and anxiety is fear is defined as the emotional response to like a present threat. This is happening right now, and your body is like, boom, okay, what are we gonna do? Fight, flight, fawn, what are we doing? Freeze? What's our thing here? So that's a present threat. Like the bear is in front of you right now. What are you gonna do? Whereas anxiety is like it's the anticipation of a future one, of a future thing happening. Um, doesn't necessarily mean that that future thing is going to happen, like for sure. But our body's preparing us for that. It's letting us know, like, hey, I'm nervous about something that might happen in the future. Um, and it's anticipating that. So, difference between fear and anxiety is fear is like right now the bear's in front of you, in your face. Anxiety is I'm really worried that that bear is going to show up. I'm you know, freaking out right now because I don't know if that bear is going to show up, and if it does, woo, I'm nervous. Um, Someone said, I read somewhere that anxiety and excitement come from the same emotional root. Yeah, it's from our limbic system, which is the part of the brain which is responsible for like moods and emotions. And so our amygdala, okay, I'm going to get into the amygdala later on in this. But yes, that is correct that anxiety and excitement do come from the same emotional root from your limbic system, sent down like through your body. And so, you know, when you're excited and you can kind of feel like your body, your heart starts pumping a little bit more. You might start getting a little sweaty. You might start speaking more quickly, bumping into stuff easier, stuff like that. Your body kind of reacts similarly ish, but yes, it does come from the same area of your brain. It's called the limbic system. Yes. Um, so next, thanks for being here, by the way. The next one is how does anxiety tie in with CPTSD? So, how does anxiety tie in with CPTSD? Anxiety, okay, so like I said at the beginning, if CPTSD means complex post traumatic stress disorder because of ongoing chronic stress, chronic manipulation, chronic abuse, chronic so many things, then that also means that we have experienced very real proof, evidence of multiple, sometimes, actually, most times, it was multiple things every single day. And not like little things here and there. They're pretty drastic, especially when you're growing up, right? And you're younger. Your body, we don't know how to deal with this stuff. Our body's like trying to figure things out. And for a whole every day to be super stressful, to not know what to expect, but also to know what to expect. And what I mean by that is expecting that things are not going to, something's going to go wrong that day. Maybe multiple things are going to go wrong growing up, right? But we don't know what it is, which is such an uncomfortable feeling for your body and your nervous system because there's two parts, and I'll talk about this a bit later too. There's two parts that are fighting against each other. Our sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems kind of cog up and confuses our bodies because we can take calmness ish in the sense of knowing growing up that okay, things are, I can expect that something's going to go wrong. I can expect for you to get pissed off, and I can expect for this to happen, that to happen. So there's calmness in knowing that, the expectation of it, But then there's crazy, crazy unsettlingness also happening at the same time because it's unpredictable about, okay, what is that thing though? Like, what exactly is going to happen today? Am I just going to come home and I'm going to get in trouble for maybe something I did or something that's been made up? Sometimes that would happen too, right? You would get in trouble for things that were just made up. And then if you denied it, you would just get into more trouble. And so CPTSD is chronic abuse, chronic trauma, chronic stress on your body all the time. And growing up, learning how to grow up and learning how to be a person is anxiety inducing in and of itself. Let's be serious about that. It's a lot. And so growing up in a home and around people who are supposed to be that calmness, like true calmness and understanding for you, and having every single day be the opposite of that in a predictable and unpredictable sense, it does a number on your nervous system. And it very much is tied in with our anxiety because it's always in anticipation, right? You always have to be on alert. Your nervous system is always, it's got your back, right? And it's like, okay, we need to be ready for whatever might happen. And so that's kind of how it ties in. They go hand in hand. So when I worked with clients, they let me know, and in my DMs and stuff, talking to people, you know, more times than not, they say, oh, you know what? I think I have anxiety. And I go, oh, I don't think it's a, I think you experience it. If you have CPTSD, you've grown up in abuse, narcissistic parents, you definitely experience anxiety in some form or another because your nervous system has learned to put you on alert for so many different things. And it took a long time, right? For your nervous system to learn to protect you for all these specific things that happened to you while you were growing up. And so it's going to take a while for it to learn that we're okay now and that we got it. And we really need to stop shaming ourselves for the way that our body is supposed to be. Like if you're anxious and have CPTSD, that's kind of what our body's supposed to do. And getting upset with it and angry with it and shaming it for what it's supposed to do is is kind of betraying our own bodies too. And it doesn't deserve that, especially when it's had our back this whole time. Excuse me, it does not deserve for us to be mean to it. No. Um, okay, so the next part, oh, this is exactly what I was just talking about. And it's that your nervous system loves you. It does. It loves you so much. Like actually loves you. It's there for you all the time, no matter what. And it's trying to protect the crap out of you. So when you get anxious or when you get triggered, let's really try to just embrace ourselves and acknowledge that it's coming from a loving place from within our body and it's trying to protect us and it's just letting us know. It's just letting us know. You might need to be alert here. You might need to, to pay attention to this. And it's up to us in that moment to be aware of what's going on, which thank you for being here because this is helping you in those moments become aware that it is anxiety that you're experiencing and dealing with. And once you're aware of it, you can let yourself know, let your body know that you are in a moment of safety. So it's our nervous system's responsibility, excuse me, to tell us and alert us. And it's our conscious present self's responsibility to take that, accept it, nurture it, embrace it, be aware of it, and let our bodies know. And I'll give you a tip on how to do that later also. And let our bodies know that we're okay. It's okay. It's okay. We got it. Look, we're going to be fine. We're going to be safe. Unless we're not. If you're in a moment where you're like, no, 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 I need to listen to my nervous system right now, then that's a different story. Then you actually do need to mobilize yourself and listen to your body. Um, Someone said the nerves branch out from its seed, the brain. Exactly. Exactly like the roots of a tree. It's important to listen to what it tells us. Yeah. Yes, always listen to what it's telling you. And even if it's hard to listen and like take in what it's telling you at first, that's okay. over time, it you will be more connected with what your body is trying to tell you. Growing up in abuse kind of disconnects us from our bodies and like feeling it and understanding what's going on within it because we're needing to focus on other things like in the moment. So it is difficult when you first start out, like trying to figure out what the heck is going on in your body. But over time, like if you're compassionate with yourself while you're learning, you do start to be more aware of what's going on and understanding why it's happening, where it's coming from. And yeah, it's kind of like the roots of a tree where it comes from. So the next part is actionable takeaways. Actually, I should just show you the takeaways, shouldn't I? There we go. Okay, this is the part where we're going to talk about the amygdala. Yay! So, the amygdala is a part of our brain that basically is responsible for alerting our body to potential threat. And it basically signals fight or flight, like what we gonna do. So the amygdala is in our brain, obviously, but it's in our brain and it's part of our limbic system, which, like I said before, our limbic system is responsible for moods and emotions and things like that. So the amygdala is part of that system. So when we're anxious, often our amygdala actually grows larger, like physically in our brains. So this is why I want to drive home the fact that you should not shame yourself when you're anxious. Don't be mad at yourself for it. Don't, like you don't deserve to do that. Your body doesn't deserve for you to get angry with it for doing those things, especially if you're anxious often, because it grows the amygdala in our brains, which means once it's growing bigger and bigger, um, it's kind of like our lookout. So if you can imagine like it being this big, right? Let's just say, first starting out, amygdala is like this. And it's kind of like looking out, oh, maybe that's an alert. No, no, maybe that's an alert. No, maybe, oh yeah, ding, 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 that's an alert, that's an alert. However, if it's grown, let's just say it's this big, okay, which is highly exaggerated. But let's just say your amygdala is this big, okay? You've grown up in chronic stress, chronic abuse, narcissistic parents. Growing, 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 everything feels anxious. That means your scope is so much bigger when you're looking around at your life and things around you. You get more fearful and more anxious about things because you're thinking and focusing about so many more things, and your amygdala is on such a big lookout that it's looking at everything. It's paying attention to body movements, to voice changes, vocabulary changes, people's footsteps, the different sounds that you're hearing around, right? It's paying attention to everything. The lookout in your amygdala is on high alert when you have anxiety often. I'm just going to read the chat here. I never knew that part of your brain actually grew. Yeah, it does. Yeah, that part of your brain grows. So it starts off as it's kind of like an almond shape, the amygdala, and it's not supposed to be super super huge, but depending on how you grow up, if you grow up in abuse and manipulation, you're going to be on high alert because your brain's like, okay, I need to be here for like anything that might happen. Your body and the environment that you are in right now, I need to let you know if there's going to be a big thing that's going to happen, a little thing that's going to happen. If your brain is having the amygdala turns into the Hulk. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what happens. It's like I got you. I got you. No one's gonna hurt you. Did you hear that tone change? Did you hear they just moved their arm? Yeah, that might mean something, right? So our amygdala is like there for us, and we do need it growing up in a narcissistic unit, family unit. You do need that. You need to be on high alert. You need your amygdala to be like bigger and on lookout. But as we like exit out of it and we grow beyond it, maybe we're not living with them anymore, we're in more of a safe environment, our amygdala is still big. big, way bigger than normal because it's grown, right? It's been there for us through so many things, like chronically over and over and over again. It needed to be there for us and alert us to so many things. So it will take time to slowly have our amygdala shrink and learn that we're okay, just like our nervous system, right? Is having to learn over time that we're okay now. We can handle this. We got this. Our amygdala needs to learn the same thing. And so, yeah, don't be so hard on yourself when you get super anxious and when you get triggered by things, and it's literally your brain has grown in certain places, larger, smaller. When we're in survival mode, like fight or flight in the moment, also, not only is our amygdala activated, but also the part of our brain that's responsible for problem solving gets smaller. So not only when you're anxious, right? The reason why you need to be aware of it and let yourself know that you're okay and like calm yourself through it is because if you don't take that time to do that, not only is your amygdala freaking out and your body's being pumped with cortisol and that's freaking out, but our survival brain at the bottom is also activated, which means that our problem solving is part of our brain diminishes and gets smaller. And so, unless we do take the time to calm our nervous systems, we can't actually think. We can't think properly about the problem or the situation at hand. We can't problem solve through it. We can't, not to the same extent anyway, that you can when you acknowledge your anxiety and work with it and through it and past it. So be kinder to yourself because your brain, there's a lot of sciencey things going on up there, and we need to just let it do its science thing and guide it and be there for it, just like it's been there for us all these years. Um, I feel like the resizing process can be a little lengthy, but so worth putting in the work. A little lengthy? A little? No, no, no. That is a lengthy process. I mean, you're not just gonna fix it, or not that we're broken, but you're not just gonna solve it and shrink it in like a couple of days or a couple of months. Like it does take time, and not only time, mindful time, right? Because you can go your whole life and never shrink or help your amygdala or your cortisol levels if you're not conscious of it and conscious of what's going on in your body. Um, so it has to be mindful, right? And reassurance, constant reassurance. And not only like other people reassuring you by their actions, right? Safe people, but you reassuring yourself, reassuring your body, saying things out loud to yourself that you are okay. I may have undersold it. Yeah, it takes time. It takes time. Okay, so the next part is okay. So what that means? What that means? Okay, now what? What are we gonna do now? There it is. Okay, so that means, well, anxiety results from an imbalance between the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. And that's what I was talking about before as well, with the two things working against each other. And so your sympathetic nervous system is responsible for mobilizing the body in stress or threat moments. And so that's that's when your amygdala turns on and it's like, oh, something's up, something might happen. Let's be on alert about this. And it talks to your what is it called? Hypothalamus. Yes, it talks to your hypothalamus, and it's like your amygdala is like, hey, hypothalamus, something's up. We need to be on alert here. Let's tell the whole body. And your hypothalamus is like, oh, I got you. Yep, I'm just gonna send cortisol through the whole body and pump it through, and we're good because that's going to tell our body to turn into fight or flight and figure out what to do from here. And so while that's happening in our bodies when we're anxious and when there's like a perceived threat that might happen for us, um, our body gets pumped with cortisol, and our amygdala is like, "Ah," and our body's cortisol is like everywhere. But at the same time, our parasympathetic nervous system, part of the nervous system, is responsible for calming the body. So when we're anxious, those two things in our brains and our bodies are working against each other. And so it causes like a bunch of inside of us. We start sweating. I mean, there's symptoms that are like similar between people, but some people have uh, different ones that are like added into it. So I'll just share what I feel. When I'm anxious, I can feel the different things working against each other. Like I can feel my anxiety is here. It happens like kind of where my ribs meet each other. I feel my anxiety physically there. Like it's almost as if someone took a burning piece of paper that's just burning nonstop and crumpled it up, and there's like a crumpled up piece of burning paper right here, and it just sits there and sits there. And then after that, what happens is I can feel my body have kind of like chills everywhere, like everywhere, and I sweat a lot, and my voice starts to get really shaky. It's common to feel the anxiety under the sternum. Oh, that's cool. Thanks. I didn't know that. So that all happens with me. My mouth can get dry. Um, and I can, if it's really, really bad, that in the moment, then I start to like, yes, I get chills on my scalp as well. It feels like my follicles are like trying to jump off of my head. And then I get really itchy. And then scratching makes me more anxious and worried. And so it can be a whole thing. It's a very physical experience for me and for a lot of people that I have talked to and research I've done as well. It is a very physical experience for a lot of people, especially for people who have CPTSD. And so I have found in the next slide, I have some tips there for you as well to help you in those moments. But I have found that because when I also start to like breathe, like I can't catch my breath properly if the anxiety gets to be a lot for me. And funnily enough, um, you know how people say that when you're anxious, you can do like the breathing exercises and focus on your breathing and do this and do that. That might help you. For me, it kind of does the opposite. Because if I'm focusing on my breathing and calming my breathing down, then I'm also very, very aware of the fact that I'm anxious and that my breathing is not in a normal state. And then the awareness that I'm not in a state of calmness pushes my anxiety even more. And so it doesn't really help me that much to focus on my breathing and everything like that. Again, if it helps you, that's awesome. But it actually just makes me more anxious. So in the next slide, I have some other tips to help you with that if you're also in the same boat. But yes, so what's happening in our bodies is our amygdala is involved, our hypothalamus is involved, our survival emotion brain is involved, which minimizes how large our problem solving part of our brain becomes. And also, our two nervous systems, sympathetic and parasympathetic, are imbalanced. They're confused. They're trying to figure out the situation. And so, please, please, please be so, and I know I'm going to say this probably for the fifth time this call, but please, please, please be kind to yourself in those moments because your conscious self, right, in the moment might be like, oh, why am I so anxious about this? Why am I so triggered by this? This is so frustrating. But everything in your body has all it has known is to alert you, is to let you know. And the things going on in your brain and your body need time. They might need 5 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes longer to learn that you're okay in that moment. And here are some ways to not speed up that process because you don't want to speed up your healing. You want to like feel it and be in it. But these are some things that will be helpful for you. So here are some tips. Some tips. Here we go. Hang on, I'm gonna take. I need water. So here are some tips. Number one, just like I just said, be kind. And the reason why this is so important is because if we're shaming ourselves and angry at ourselves and all this stuff for being anxious, then that's an added emotion on top of what we're feeling. We're adding complexities to an already complex experience in the moment. And then it's even harder to work through it and pull ourselves out of it because we're not only anxious and all this stuff is happening in our bodies, we're also shaming ourselves for it and angry about it and just frustrated. And so now that's like four layers that we need to work through in order to release the anxiety, release the tension in our bodies, right? So please, please, please be kind to yourself in those moments. It took a long time for it to build up its defenses, our body, right? So it'll take time for it to learn that you're okay now. Okay. So number two, tell yourself out loud is the best way. But if you can hear your voice in your head, which I learned a few months ago, maybe it was last year, I don't know, time is weird in my brain. Um, that some people don't hear a voice in their head. Like they don't hear anything, which is just baffling to me because I'm like, how do you how do you read? How do you think? Like how do you do anything? That's just wild. But if you can hear your own voice in your head, then you can say this to yourself internally as well. Out loud is best, but if you're around people and you don't want to say things out loud, I get it. Tell yourself in the moment when you become aware of the fact that you're anxious, right? Because sometimes we're not aware of it. We just feel it, and then hours go by, and we're like, oh shit, I've been sweating for like hours and I've been shaking a little bit. Oh, I must have been anxious. But if you're able to be aware of it in the moment that it's happening, tell yourself that you appreciate the warning because we don't want to be mean to our bodies. We need to reassure it, right? Validate it. When we're expressing to somebody that we're angry or upset or hurt, we want to be validated. That is so helpful in working through that emotion is the validation. Your body needs that too. So tell your body that you appreciate the warning. Thank you for the warning. Thank you for letting me know that something might be up. Thank you for reminding me, that we've been through this before and that you've felt this way before. I appreciate the warning. And then validate, and then reinforce that you are safe if you're safe, right? If you're not safe, that's a whole other thing. Validate that you're safe, reassure that everything is okay. That will not stop your anxiety right that second, but it starts the process. So when you're super anxious, it's happening right here, right? In your nervous system, your amygdala, and also your survival brain is heavily activated, which means again, our problem solving is smaller in our brain. And so acknowledging and being aware in that moment that, oh, this is anxiety, this is an alert, and telling your brain, telling yourself, thank you for the warning. We're okay. I'm gonna be okay. We're gonna figure this out and we're safe. Slowly, that lets your survival brain kind of relax a bit so that the message can reach your problem solving part of your brain. So then you can start to work through things and you can start to physically like do things that help your body, your nervous system now, right? Because that's first step is of telling yourself is you talking to your brain. Okay. Then now your brain understands it's like, okay, okay, we're safe, fine. It takes your nervous system because now it's your nervous system at that point has been sent so many shoots of cortisol, which is our stress hormone, to try and mobilize our bodies into action to keep ourselves safe. So after you talk to your brain and let it know that you can chill out, you can calm down a bit, then it's our job to start being there for our nervous system. So the way that we can do that is one of the biggest ways is humming. Hum to yourself, okay? Um, One sec, I'm just gonna go into the comments. Someone said, I'm so neurodivergent. I think in 5D, voice, visuals, distance, etc. It's a fun place and here during meditations. Yeah, I bet. Our brains, also when you've grown up in narcissistic abuse and chronic trauma and stress, um, you said, I feel that. Interesting. This is also helpful. Thank you so much. Same, I'm neurospicy too. Yeah. I love the term neurospicy. It's so awesome. Yeah. So anyway, when you grow up in chronic trauma and stress and stuff like that, our brains are they have a harder time being quiet for us. So things like meditation, like sitting still and trying to meditate, can be really jarring to our bodies because it's sitting still is so foreign to our bodies for a lot of us. Um, because of the way we grew up. And so trying to sit there in silence in meditation can sometimes have the opposite effect for CPTSD, those who experience that, because our brain's like, I don't like this. This is foreign. I'm just going to, nope, no, 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 no. But what is helpful, if you want to look it up, I don't have the information in this presentation, but if you want to look it up on your own, look up CPTSD and movement meditation. Movement meditation is so helpful if you have CPTSD or grown up in chronic stress and abuse, because it allows your body to be in movement while you're, and then because your body is in movement, your brain can feel calm. It can chill out. It enters like a flowy meditative state, right? And movement meditation can be in many forms. It can be doing your laundry if you like it, right? It has to be something that your body knows and it can do on autopilot and that it already likes doing. Otherwise, you're going to be fighting yourself. So, like things like folding laundry or painting, coloring, um, tidying up, if that's what, if that's calming to you, gardening. Oh my gosh, this past summer, I really figured out that gardening is a huge form of movement meditation for me. And so that might be helpful for you in the summertime or having plants in your house. So yeah, meditating can be difficult for people who have CPTSD because of the calm, because of like the stillness that's involved in it. But look up movement meditation because that will be helpful. What else is there here? Anxiety goes away like a train stop, slow and gradual. Yep, yep. The humming thing, tones and vibrations are literally everything. Yes, exactly, which is what I'm going to get into. Humming is so similar to Om that it inevitably will affect your own vibration. And, and I was just like a few weeks back, maybe a month now, I went to a sound healing experience, and one of the things she said was, your voice, your own voice, is one of the best forms of medicine for your body because it's what it's always known. It's the vibration that is the most familiar for your body. Even if you don't like the sound of your own voice, because a lot of us don't like the sound of our own voice, but your body does. It's familiar, it's calming, it's been with it forever since the inception of us. And so humming is our body, your own voice is your body's best medicine when it comes to trying to calm down your nervous system when you become aware that you're anxious. So like humming, like and it doesn't have to be like a constant steady thing. You can hum like a song that you like, a song that's on your mind. You can even sing. That's really helpful for me. And what I've shared with a lot of clients too is singing a song that you like make up about what's happening in the moment. Like you can sing, I know that we're so nervous right now and anxious that something might happen, but I also know that I'm safe and everything's gonna be a-okay. Da 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 da. Right? Just sing it, say it out loud to yourself. But humming is so, so helpful. I remember in high school, I would always like in the hallways, I would always hum between classes. Never really understood why, but I would always hum. And it's because freaking walking through those hallways was so overstimulating, all the locker sounds and smashing and clanging and people in your way, people looking at you, being perceived. Ugh, ugh. Did not like it. So I was humming all the time. Um, Someone on Zoom said, "Oh my God, I have memories of humming songs to myself when I was sad." I just remembered, and it did soothe me. I also sing everything. Yes, I know you do. But yeah, humming is so, so helpful for you. The funny thing, this is a comment. The funny thing, I went to therapy and I was like, wow, healing, no anxiety, my feelings back to work and even stronger. Things were awesome. The mistake, oh, you went back to your narc parents. Hey, um, after you've done the work and once you've been in the state of healing, our bodies aren't really uh, built for walking back into the abuse, and so you will probably, if you're going back, you will probably feel even more heightened around them because your body's like chilled out more, right? It's not on alert mode like 24/7. It's felt safe with you. It's felt safe in its new environments, and so it's not prepared or ready for what you might be walking back into. So that's one part of what I'm going to say for your comment. And the second part is, don't be too hard on yourself. If you have gone back and you have tried, to make amends or be part of your narcissistic parent's life again, because it's also an addiction. So what happens in your brain is kind of has layers to it, right? Because we fundamentally, as human beings, want to have a connection with our parents, even when they're assholes, even when they're horrible people, even when they treat you like crap. Our bodies want us to have that connection. And so that's working against you. And at the same time, it's an addiction. It is a trauma bond, and your brain is chemically bonded to them when it comes to the abuse and manipulation. And they know how to manipulate you back, right? There's various ways that they manipulate you back into their good graces or into their web. Um, and so just being aware that that's happening, um, shows that you're healing and you've been on that journey, because if you're aware, like, oh, I went back to my narcissistic parents and this happened to my body and this happened to my body and I noticed my brain fog came back and this and that. Um, that only You're only able to be aware of that because you've done the work and because you've done the healing part of things and become more aware of what's going on. And so, like we always say, healing is not linear, and that's kind of what it means too. Sometimes you'll be 5 steps ahead or in one direction, and then something will happen. And healing journeys do not mean those things don't happen. It just means when they do happen, you now have the tools, skills, and understanding to work with it and to have a different perspective on it. And so going back and then realizing, oh shit, I wish I didn't do that, and seeing how it affected you, that's that's healing in and of itself, to also be aware of it and be like, okay, I don't want this to continue for the rest of my life again. So I'm gonna unfortunately need to build my boundaries back up, and I might need to go low or no contact again. And that's okay. Singing definitely helps me as well, 1,000%. Noemi, hey, I'm so glad you're here. I love humming too. It allows me to take all the stress, energy, all the pain, and whatever I'm feeling. I put it into the humming and I let it all out until it calms down and I redirect it into feeling safe. Awesome. Awesome. I love reading that. So yes, humming is so helpful. Okay, number 4, relaxation techniques. So once let your brain know that you're safe and you've started humming to yourself, creating that vibration, your own personal vibration that your body is known its whole life and it's familiar with. Um, then you can also do relaxation techniques. So something that's super helpful is shaking it out. It's trapped in your body, right? Anxiety is a very physical experience. And so being able to get it out, letting your body shake it out, is so helpful. And you can put music on too and dance to the music or just sway. If you don't want to shake or anything, if that might make you more anxious, you can sway and snap and sway and hum. And if it's difficult for you to calm your breathing down, playing music is helpful because you will start breathing more naturally on the beat of the song. So if you're someone like me, who, if you're trying to focus on a breathing technique and that just makes you more anxious because then you're aware of the fact that you're still anxious, put on a song and let the beat of it bring your breathing back to its natural form. Um, Someone said, "That's what I'm doing now. No contact, and it feels better until I can manage the next move. Thanks for the insights." Yeah, of course. Thanks for being here and commenting and for taking the time to think about what's best for you in each moment, in each moment, each step of your journey, each step of like your decisions. Just keep checking in with yourself. I do the same with singing, dancing, and with whatever allows me to pour and express my feelings in a safe way. Awesome. I love swaying. I dance and sway in the shower. Me too. Okay, yeah. So you can shake it out, sway, play music. Ice is so, so helpful because what ice does, like the cold sensation, um, which by the way, don't do ice baths if you have CPTSD because they are super, super jarring to your system. It might help work for some people, but for the vast majority of us, because there's so much cortisol already being pumped through our bodies naturally because of the way we grew up, putting your whole body into an ice bath is not, it just sends it into overdrive. It's crazy. You can do like a bowl of ice water because it's more contained. And that's really good for your skin anyway on your face. But it's more contained and it doesn't send your body into such a shock. So, ice, what I was saying is you can have like a little ice pack or drink ice cold water or cold pop. And what the coldness does, the cold sensation, is it triggers your nervous system to kind of reset itself. Don't fully know the science behind why that is yet, but it does trigger your nervous system to kind of reset. So ice is really helpful. Mint does the same thing. Mint is very calming for your body. So mint tea or mint gum, super helpful. On Zoom, they mentioned those rollers that you can freeze for skincare and roll in your face are really nice. Yep, I have a ice face roller, and I just picked up 2 circle ice gel things and a full-on ice mask because your girl cries a lot, okay? Okay? So, the ice mask is so, so helpful for, like, crying aftercare, and it helps your skin and your body just relax, but the ice ro girl, say, but yeah, but the ice rollers. You can get them for like 5, $8 on Amazon, and they are so, so helpful. So helpful. I love using them in the morning, but also if you're in moments of anxiety, take that thing out of the freezer and you can roll it everywhere on you, your face. And it's really helpful on the back of your neck when you're in moments of anxiety because that's where your survival brain is, right? It's back here, it's all connected, your nervous system's all connected back there. So rolling the ice on the back of your neck, super helpful. What about cold showers? Cold showers can be helpful, yeah. Not freezing, freezing, freezing cold though, right? Because it's kind of like an ice bath and it will send, if you have CPTSD, it will send your body into like hyper, hyper overdrive. But you can have like lukewarm or like cool-ish showers, whatever you can, you know, sustain and manage like in a calm state. But yeah, you can do with some cold showers if you'd like. And hand placements. So there's a few hand placements that you can do that can help soothe your body as well. And for some people, putting your hands, like pressing them on your face can be, especially if your hands are cold. Like my hands are always cold, which people hate, but I love because in the summertime I can just like do this and it feels nice. But also when I'm in anxiety, my cold hands help me. Pushing on my face helps, which is interesting because I hate when other people touch my face, but I can do it. So that's helpful. Also, your inner ear up at the top here, which I have done growing up, and I didn't know that this was a calming technique. Gliding your hand along the top of your ear and kind of like the crevice in here, super helpful for anxiety. Your eyebrows going like this, and also I think it's called like the butterfly technique. So you cross your hands over like this, and it's helpful if you sorry, you can find your collarbones and tap. This is also a form of EFT, which is a tapping technique to let your body know that you are safe. So you can tap like this on your collarbones. You can also do this on your face, which all these things feel nice on their own, which is just a bonus. But this is very calming for you also if you're in a moment of anxiety. So shake it out, dance it out, hum it out, sway it out, talk to your brain. Ice is helpful. Mint, get yourself a roller, an ice roller, um, movements, things like that. And also, number five, this is the last thing um, for today's call, is to intentionally slow down. So if you're someone who has a busy, busy life and like everything you do for the most part, you do quickly, and that's understandable. Like, don't shame yourself for it. It's understandable when you've grown up in the families that we have and just in society too, right? Like, our society is a very go, 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 go thing now. And our bodies are not used to that. Like, evolution wise, all this is very brand new for our bodies and for our brains. Like, all of this constant stuff going on is a lot. Like, our bodies are not actually used to that. And so with our day to day, if we're constantly doing things quickly, like texting back really quick, like with your fingers physically, or walking really quickly, or eating really quickly, downing your drink super fast, being in panic mode all the time, your body reads that, especially if you've grown up the way we have, your body reads that as like, okay, we're on alert. We need to be focused on something that might go wrong here. It tells your system because it's like when you're moving really quickly, you have more cortisol going on. And so that alerts your body to be like, okay, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen here? And so allowing yourself to be mindful, if you can be aware of it, right? If you notice yourself doing something really, really quickly and you don't need to be, mindfully slow it down. Just slow down what you're doing. If you notice you're walking really fast and you don't have to be, walk slower. Breathe in what smells are around you. Look at your surrounding. Maybe you'll notice like a little snail on the road on the sidewalk. Maybe you'll notice this, maybe you'll notice that. And it also not only allows your body to like relax and be a bit calmer, and you'll tell your body that no, you're okay, you can relax a bit. You're also being more aware of your surroundings too, and maybe taking in things that you wouldn't have otherwise seen, like a little snail on a leaf that's super cute. That's part of life. That is life. That is our human experience, is connecting with ourselves, our bodies, our minds, other bodies, minds, and selves, and the surroundings, like literally the nature and the life that surrounds us. So that's our human experience. And everything else kind of pulled us out of it. And so if you are able to, I'm a fast walker. It says, yeah, me too. That's my biggest thing is walking fast. I'm always like, where are we going? And like, what? I don't need to be walking so fast to get anywhere anymore. Like, I don't. I don't. Even if I'm late, I kind of just accept it. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to walk fast and put myself in that state. I'll just let them know I'm going to be late. So yeah, intentionally slow down in your day-to-day life. And it will teach your body over time that you're not in a chronic state of rush anymore, or worry, or panic. And it will keep you out of fight or flight more easily because you're not always like on the cusp of like something happening. Even if you're not aware of it, if you're rushing around all the time through your things and through your day to day, your body does read it as like an alert. It's always on the cusp of like stress. And then that cusp is what flips it into anxiety, and that can, stick around for a while or not, depending on how aware you are of it in the moment. So, these are all helpful things for you to do if you're in moments of anxiety. And this has been the connection between CPTSD and anxiety, why we feel it, where it's coming from, and what we can do for ourselves in the moment and in our day to day life to help you through it and help you understand it. And I'm going to challenge you and encourage you not to, if you take anything from this call, please do not shame yourself. I encourage you not to shame yourself or feel or be angry at yourself or like frustrated or annoyed that you get anxious, because it is your body's way of being there for you, and it has been there for you for your whole life through all of your experiences, especially growing up. And it's going to take it time to learn that you're safe. And your conscious self is responsible for helping your body and your brain learn that you are in a more safe environment, in a safe state now. Okay. So be calm with yourself. I mean, compassionate with yourself as you learn how to be with your anxiety and be with yourself and navigate this crazy world of not only the world as it is right now, just as a person experiencing the world, but also somebody who has experienced chronic abuse and trauma and a nervous system that is trying to figure things out just like your conscious self is right now, too. Okay. So let's all be more compassionate with ourselves. And thanks for being here. And next Tuesday, same time, next Tuesday at noon PST, so 3 p.m. Eastern time, I'm going to pop on again. And that is going to be our monthly group coaching call. So you can come on, you can ask any question you have about this topic or any other topic, anything you're going through, and receive free coaching in the moment. And so, yeah, that's next Tuesday. So join me then if you are interested in doing that or if you have a question. If you can't make it, that's okay. You can DM me your question or email me your question ahead of time, and I will answer it on the call. And I'm about to post either today or tomorrow the recording of last month's group coaching call with a lot of questions in there. And a lot of those questions will be helpful for you too, I think. So, yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your Tuesday. Thanks for being here. And that's it. That's it. Have a good rest of your day. Bye. Thanks for coming. Actually, does anybody have anything to say? I did this last time. I cut it short without asking. Does anybody have anything you want to say or a question, anything like that on Zoom or IG Live? I just want to give you that space. You might not, but I think I answered them all as I was going. Like as you commented, I was answering your questions and stuff. Okay, nothing's coming in. Cool. Well, if anything arises, you can message me separately and I will respond to you. But other than that, have a great rest of your Tuesday and hopefully I will see you next week. See ya.